Great to see the video of where the good cause that the money is going towards. Thank you again to everybody who is able to contribute. It is hugely appreciated. I know that Mum and Stepdad of Paul just thoroughly enjoyed being up here in the commentary box apparently, but they just really appreciate everything that everybody's doing. So please do keep it going in. It's a great course. Without question. But we're now going to move on to heat number 6, and judging by the entertainment so far, it's going to be amazing. First row is Ben Bennyworth and Jacob Murphy. Second row, Sam Lavender and Pete Cohen. Row 3, Chris McCarthy and Jonah Barker. Row 4, Tommy Ellis and Max Tyndall. Fifth row, Sam Massey and Ross Kamen. 11th is John Maycock and 12th Stephen Crutchley. 7th row, Dante Dillon, so he's going to be starting down there. Dan Marshall. On the 8th row, Ed Bars and Justin Buck. On the 9th row is Darryl Lowe and Jamie Rumsey. 10th row, Alex Spencer, John Kinchella. And this would be interesting, 21st position, Darry Sims. So all alone at the back there, Darry Sims, and we saw that he was able to throw it up quite a long way earlier, so that will be very, very interesting. I've got to share one of the social feeds that came up that says, haha, thanks Steve, he's in Canada, I'm in the sauna at the gym, I'm gutted I dropped out now, perfect conditions for us. There we go. We're joined by our victor, who again was Jay Elliott Purdy. Jay, well done, 2 wins out of 2, and you made that look quite comfortable again.
Well, it's much easier when you're on pole and there's no one in grid 2 either, so just wanted to get through his first few corners, and I knew there was probably no one that quick really in the top half of the race, so I was pretty confident as long as I kept it on the grey stuff I'll be alright.
Yeah, because the quick ones were so far back that they were involved in getting themselves forward and then in the melees of multi-cars.
Yeah, I knew Goddard was back there and Dan Milner's looked alright today, so yeah, I looked back and I saw Dan was there and I thought I probably got him covered anyway, so yeah, it was pretty relaxed to be honest. I managed to showboat a little bit for the last lap, so yeah, it was good fun.
I definitely spotted that. I said you were drifting as you went down the back straight, and yet you're still fishtailing. It looked like you were having fun.
Yeah, quite a few seconds in the bag, so there's no point just poodling around, is there? Yeah, it's good fun.
Where are you starting in the all last?
Yeah, so yeah, I'm hopefully a lot more overtakes this time, because in the first race I was in second after the first lap. Everyone just pinned it, and this one obviously I just led it. So next one, much more interesting.
You probably, and it'll be good to let into the final in case you have to do some learn the different lies when overtaking, because you haven't really had to do that yet.
Yeah, well,
I mean in the wet. I know you know it, but I just mean on this track in the wet.
Yeah, even I have been sort of trying different lines in all different corners anyway, so sort of in preparation for that a little bit. Surprisingly, it's not getting any quicker. Seems to be sort of same lap times as well. But yeah, no, that race was really fun.
Well done, 2 out of 2. See what you can do in the third of your heats.
Cheers, thanks a lot.
So well done there to Jay Elliott Purdy. He's got 2 victories out of his 2 heats. What's he going to be able to do in the third one? But he's got to come from the back. Just getting the drivers making their way to onto the grid now, the final few drivers. And Ben Bennyworth is going to be on pole position. He's a Club 100 racer, and I've already said this, winner of the PLD 2016 Wooden Spoon, but he's really mixing it up the sharp end this time. Sam Lavender, Pete Cohen, Chris McCarthy there in 5th position. That'll be interesting. Jonah Barker, Tommy Ellis, Max Tyndall, Sam Massey, Ross Kamen, John Maycock, Stephen Crutchley, Dante Dillon starting in 13th. I can't wait to see that. He just dominated his first of his heats. Dan Marshall, Ed Bars, Justin Buck, Darryl Lowe, Jamie Rumsey, Alex Spencer, John Kinchella, and Darry Sims right at the back. And off we go, and it does look like Jacob Murphy possibly is the one that's got the bit of the whole shot there. Can't remember which way round is pole and second now, but everybody's heading around that first corner and it's bunching up, and I was about to say cleanly, and just one of them got pincered into a bit of a spin in front of others, but somehow they just managed to part either side of him and flood round, and everything ended up largely okay. But up towards Christmas Corner, that looks like Chris McCarthy's been tapped into a spin there on the exit of the corner, and having been in about the top 4 or 5 there, he's got an awful lot of work to do. He's going to be frustrated because he was hoping to be out of the sort of mid-table fight and be enjoying life at the front, but not now. He's got a lot of work to do. But there's an awful lot that's gone off at Ashby this time. There's about 5 or 6 karts involved, but it meant that there was nowhere for the likes of Chris McCarthy and all those others that were behind it to really pick their way through easily until they actually recovered. So he hasn't made up positions. And I just noticed ahead of him, weaving through some of the other karts, is Dante Dillon in the yellow and black. He's doing a great job there. As the front 4 are all joined together, and we've got a side-by-side going through the boot there for second and third as they come down towards Pitts Bend. I need to wait for them to come across the line to be able to see who it is that has the whole shot. And in fact, it looks like the car that was in the lead lost all power there. That was Ben Bennyworth, I think, just suddenly dropped away, having been in the lead as they came around that final bend. And it's Sam Massey, number 29, that's in the lead from Jacob Murphy. Ben Bennyworth still there in third, but really looked compromised on the power there. And then Pete Cowan, Jonah Barker, Tommy Ellis, Stephen Crutch. It's not Crutch, is it? It's Crutch Lee. Look at the screen. I've got to make sure I change that. Where's Dante Dillon? 13th. Fair play. Dante Dillon started 13th, running 13th. So this race has still got some interesting things to be uncovered here, because they're sort of yo-yoing backwards and forwards after the craziness of that opening lap. And still it's all going on. All the way exiting from Ashby, it looks like third and fourth were still side by side as they head into the left-hander of Parker. They're still side by side as they head down towards the left-hander of Chapman, and something's got to give this time. And it looks like Ben Bennyworth has managed to make that work. So well done, Ben, the heavyweight driver, Ben Bennyworth. But he's about to be losing out on that one again. Now, I'm assuming that's Jacob Murphy, is it, that's there, which means it's all changed again. Sam Massey is still in the lead, and in fact stretching his legs at the front of this field at the moment. Greg Smith, 13th on the grid. Come on, Dante Racing. He's still got some work to do, is he, Greg? He's still got a lot more to do. But through comes Sam Massey, Pete Cowan, Jonah Barker, Jacob Murphy, Ben Bennyworth down to 5th position now. He really seems to struggle coming onto the start-finish straight. He does really well through the middle of the circuit, but just that last bit seems to be a bit of his bogey section of the circuit. What else have we got? Dante Dillon's up to 10th position now. Chris McCarthy just behind him in 12th. And look at that, it's all happened, and that's in that front group again, isn't it? And I think that must be Jacob Murphy. I'm sure Jacob Murphy, car number 2, was involved in that. Started on the front row and has just been involved in other people's incidents, unfortunately for him. And so has got a lot of work to do, which means at the front, Sam Massey is just cantering away. Pete Cowan sat there in 2nd position, rather lonely 2nd position as well. Then it's a bit of a gap back to 3rd and 4th, still fairly joined together. Now, it's Ben Bennyworth has got himself back up to 3rd position again. Now, is that Jonah Barker that's then just behind him? We'll have to let them come back through again, see how that one's going to play out. But still the conditions are clearly very, very tricky there. 7-minute race, don't forget. We've still got 3 minutes remaining. They are on their 3rd lap, so that when they cross the line, they're almost definitely going to be at half race distance, because they seem to be doing 6 laps at the moment. Sam Massey from Pete Cowan, Ben Bennyworth indeed up to 3rd position. Then it is Stephen Crutchley, Justin Buck, Dan Marshall, Jacob Murphy, Dante Dillon up to 8th position now. Jonah Barker, Chris McCarthy. Round out your top 10 at the moment. Now the leader's already exited Christmas Corner and has got a back marker ahead of him as they head down towards the heavy braking Ashby tight right-hand hairpin at the bottom of the hill. Lonely 2nd position for Pete Cowan. Oh, and that back marker just exits stage left, which is probably what the leader wanted, but not what the back marker wanted. Great tussle now. 3rd, 4th, 5th joined together, the 3 karts there. 1st and 2nd rather lonely, but there you go. There's that battle for 3rd, 4th and 5th. Heading into the left-hander of Parker. Now, is that still Ben Bennyworth sat there in 3rd? I'm not sure. We'll have to wait and see as they come through. But in theory, that would be Ben Bennyworth, Stephen Crutchley and Justin Buck. As still got yellow flags waving. That's because someone went onto the grass on the exit of the boot again. As our leader, Sam Massey, comes through to complete his 4th lap and still has a very comfortable lead as through comes Pete Cowan. That's now just over 5 seconds. Ben Bennyworth is indeed still there in 3rd. Stephen Crutchley, Justin Buck, Dan Marshall. Dante Dillon's up to 7th position now. And he's got Ooh, 2 more laps to be able to do something. Now, what's the chances? He's certainly hunting down the car in front of him. Next target, Dan Marshall. Now, Dan Marshall is again one of the key drivers here. So that's not going to be an easy move for it. So is this potentially as far as he's able to come? Now, the other possibility is that the carts in front are falling over each other. Now, incidentally, though, Pete Cowan's had them closing in. Ben Bennyworth is down to 4th, I think, now, because I think Stephen Crutchley's just managed to get up ahead of him. And I've got to share this one because it's great to see people that are watching. We've got a tweet there from Jake Dennis. Jake, good to see you watching. Weather's a fair bit different to last time I did this. Great event, boys. Make the future ones. I hope you do. Hope I can make the future ones. Sorry. I hope you can, Jake. That would be great to see you here. As we got Dante now making that move, and he is indeed about to move up ahead of Dan Marshall as they head into the boot, and he's managed to close that one off. Interestingly, we've got a sort of, I might have been there all along, but I've not noticed it, a board that's on the exit of the hairpin of boot that says test your brakes. Christ, it's a bit late to be worrying about that, isn't it, surely? But we'll see what happens. So does that, let's just confirm, yes, Dante Dillon up to 6th position. Chris McCarthy's up to 8th position now. Jacob Murphy's tumbling down. So Jacob Murphy must have had another incident, unfortunately. He's had a nightmare scenario. But it's still Sam Massey, now nearly 8 seconds ahead of Pete Cowan. Stephen Crutchley in 3rd. Ben Bennyworth in 4th position. Justin Buck, Dante Dillon in 6th, as we know, as we got the challenge for 2nd position going on here, and that is Stephen Crutchley is now making that move, and I think that is, he's made the move past Pete Cowan. That is for 2nd position, as our leader is already making it through Chapman, and someone had a bit of a moment in front of him, but fortunately stayed out of the way, as 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, all there, and in fact down to 7th, and now all largely glued together. But it is the final lap, so I'm not sure if this is going to be a little bit too close. The one that is under pressure is Pete Cowan, who's already lost 2nd position, and I think is under pressure to lose that 3rd, because is that Justin Buck potentially that's trying, and in fact has done it, so I think it's going to be all changed. But Sam Massey comes through to take the victory, and a very comfortable victory in the end. And we wait for a gap here, and there's been a bit of bumping and boring there, I think, because it's all changed. Stephen Crutchley comes through in 2nd, Pete Cowan in 3rd, Dante Dillon up to 4th position. I know that a lot of you have been enjoying Dante's progress. Guess what, guys? He finished 4th. What a brilliant move there. Ben Bennyworth unfortunately fell down to 5th position. It all got a bit too interesting on the last couple of corners. Justin Buck, Dan Marshall, Chris McCarthy, Jonah Barker, Darryl Lowe, Darry Sims up to 11th from 21st, so great there. But Sam Massey, great victory from 9th on the grid. He comes through to take the win. So well done, Sam, and what a fantastic race. I don't think I'd have, if I was a betting man, I wouldn't have been betting on anything other than the winner on that one, and someone's still throwing it as scenery and into the tyres as they came down to Ashby there. Sorry, I just suddenly spotted that out of my window. I don't know whether they've taken the checkered flag or not yet. I think they may have done. But great victory by Sam Massey. Stephen Crutchley coming through in 2nd. Great job there as well. Where did he start? 12th, so up into 2nd position. Pete Cowan started 4th, finished 3rd. Dante Dillon, great performance, up into 4th position. As Greg Smith says, and I will share this because it's got to be fair, you keep cheering for him. Wow, amazing 4th place. Well done, Dante. Thanks, Greg. Great. Keep the messages coming, guys. It really is great having you guys all involved, and it was a great performance. Didn't quite do enough to get up to the front, but while we wait for the winner to come through to us, let's grab another word from one of the videos of the charity we're supporting.
Hi, I'm Graham Shaw, and I'm here with Dr. Jonathan Gear.
I did my PhD in the physics department of the Institute of Cancer Research. The aim of my PhD was to investigate the accuracy of dosimetry for molecular radiotherapy. Molecular radiotherapy involves the administration of a radioactive drug to a patient, which is then absorbed by the tumour of the cancer cells, and the radiation destroys that tissue. One of the approaches we took was to actually model the patient's tumour and create a 3D model that then we could scan using the same protocols that we would on the actual patient. What we found was that the shape and the position of the tumour can strongly influence the accuracy which we can measure the absorbed dose. During the PhD we had to hand make these models, which was very time consuming. With 3D technology we're able to dramatically reduce the time it takes to produce them. The printer works just like a normal home inkjet printer, except rather than printing ink it prints a special resin which solidifies under UV light, and it builds up these micro layers. So after a few hours of printing and printing many of these micro layers, you begin to generate a 3D model. Creating these models gave us a lot more information than we would get otherwise.
So how do these models help patients?
A patient could come for a CT scan. The following day we could have generated the 3D model, which we're then able to inject with the same radioactive compound that the patient would get for their treatment. We then scan the model just like we would the patient, and we'll know the accuracy of our calculations before we've even given the patient their treatment.
Dr. Jonathan Gear, thank you very much.